Oliver Westmoreland. I'm an immigration consultant for GSN Immigration. I'm also an OSC registered level 3 advisor. Today I'm going to talk about British naturalisation and British registration. If you haven't liked our video, please click the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel and share it with your friends and family. If you have any questions or queries arising, please put them in comments and we will get back to you. You may have heard about British naturalisation and British registration. These two subjects are closely related, but there are differences between them. Important principle to bear in mind: an adult who applies to become British will, in most cases, apply for naturalisation. A child who applies to become British will, in all cases, apply for registration. There is one exception: an adult who's relying on having been born in the UK and lived here for the first 10 years of their life, they will apply for registration as a British citizen. This is the only exception to this general principle. The requirements for naturalisation are pretty much set out. The requirements for registration of a child, as we shall see, are much more flexible. Important question: why is it worth being a British citizen? What do you get out of it? Well, of course, you can hold a British citizen passport. British citizen passport is quite good as passports go. Maybe not quite as good as it used to be because we're no longer in the EU, but it's still a good passport. It gets you into a lot of countries without a visa. And even to Europe now you can get in for a visit on your British passport. So British passport is good. What else does it give you? Well, it gives you the protection of the British diplomatic service should you ever need it. Hopefully you won't, but you never know. It also allows you to vote in British general elections. Now this could be very important for some people. Other nationalities can vote in council elections. British citizens can vote in all elections in the UK, and you can also stand to be a member of parliament if that's the sort of thing you're interested in. So British citizenship gives you various things. It gives you a few more things than does settlement. So those are the sort of things you can get from British citizenship. As I discussed just now, there are two methods of applying for British citizenship: naturalisation and registration. Naturalisation is always in the context of adults. Registration, as I say, most typically a child, but could be an adult in some circumstances. Naturalisation, to satisfy the requirements for naturalisation, you have to satisfy different types of requirement. You must have been in the UK legally for at least 5 years. You mustn't have been outside the UK for too long during those 5 years. You must hold settlement. If you're married to a British citizen and you apply for British citizenship yourself, the only rule is that you must hold settlement when you apply. If you're not married to a British citizen and you apply for British citizenship, then the rule is that you must have held settlement for 1 year. So in a typical scenario, let's say somebody holds a family visa or a working visa for 5 years, they then acquire settlement. In many cases, the migrant will have to wait for 1 year more before they can apply for British citizenship, unless they are married to a British citizen. There is an English language and life in the UK test requirement, but of course in many cases somebody who has settlement under the historic British immigration rules, they will have already passed those requirements. So if you've passed them already, then you may not have to pass them again, depending. If you haven't passed those requirements, then you will have to pass them for British citizenship. English language and life in the UK test. These are two separate requirements, they're not the same thing. You must show that you're of good character. There is no legal definition of good character, but I can tell you, if you've got some criminal convictions, this is an indication of bad character, even a small conviction. It's more than this. If you've got any bad character issues over the last 10 years, your British Citizenship application may be refused. Bad character isn't just about criminal convictions. Bad character could be about breach of immigration rules. For example, and this is something that catches a lot of people out. If in the last 10 years, when you make your application, if in the last 10 years you've got any history of overstaying, this could fatally damage your British naturalisation application. You've got to be very careful about this, and you may need to take good legal advice to make sure that the application is worthwhile. If it's not worthwhile, you're going to spend an awful lot of money. The fee for a British naturalisation application is about £1,350. It's a lot of money to spend. You don't really want to make the application unless you're pretty confident that you've got a strong application. Registration, as I say, is usually for a child, with one exception, a person who is either a child or an adult but was born in the UK and has lived in the UK for the first 10 years of their life can make an application for registration as a British citizen, either when they're a child or when they're an adult. There aren't any more requirements than that. It's a fairly simple application, and the person can make the application any time. They don't have to wait, they don't have to do it on their 10th birthday. They can make the application any time. This could be a fairly simple, straightforward application if you have the right evidence to prove that indeed you were born in the UK and that you lived here in the first 10 years of your life. As I say, that's the only situation in which an adult could apply for registration as a British citizen. It's a much more flexible route generally. Registration doesn't have all the requirements that naturalisation does. Child can apply for British registration either by legal entitlement or Act of Parliament, British Nationality Act of 1981, or they can apply under a discretionary route. There is no absolute requirement for a child to have settlement when they apply. It won't do any harm to the application, but there's no absolute requirement for this, and there is no requirement for English language. If it's a discretionary application, the main test or principle is whether the family looks as though they're going to be living in the UK long term. This is a general thing with British citizenship applications anyway. You, the applicant, must state that you intend to make the UK your home for the foreseeable future. You see your future being in the UK. With children, this impacts very strongly. If the situation of the family looks as though they're going to be in the UK long term, then a discretionary application made by a child is likely to be very strong and will probably be granted. The rules are a bit more complicated than that, but that's the sort of general principle for registration application by a child. Now, fees for registration, application for registration by a child, interesting subject. The fee at this moment is, the Home Office fee is £1,012. However, the Supreme Court, which is the highest court in the UK, has recently made a decision that this fee is unlawfully high. So, in all expectation, at some point in the near future, this fee may decrease. Thank you very much for watching my video. Please now watch part 2, where we're going to deal with some frequently asked questions on this subject.